okay, maybe y'all don't get it, but the economy is pretty bad. Price of eggs is crazy. The price of a gallon of milk is crazy. Things are not what they used to be. Definitely not what they used to be. Yeah, things are just not what they used to be in terms of prices. It is hard out here. It is hard for a pimp, as they say. It's just different, man. The economy is not the same. So because the economy is not the same, it's easy for me to expect Uber and Lyft not to be same. And then we all know that Uber and Lyft are getting over on the customers. So it's like they get in charge of arm and a leg. We obviously not gonna get an arm and a leg, but that's just what it is. The economy is doing bad right now. So I'm gonna be very straightforward. If you just lost your job, I don't care where you was working at. If you just lost your job, my personal recommendation is that you should start driving Uber right now. And listen, I don't want to hear all of that, but the hours and I gotta work harder. You just lost your job. It's time to grind. It's time to make some money, get yourself back so that you can cover yourself for a couple months or whatever until you can wait for your next job. Now, obviously, you need to be doing interviews. And that's the biggest reason why I say my recommendation is that if you just lost your job, right now is the time to be doing Uber. Now, I know this is going to be a crazy take, but it's just because you have flexibility like never before. You just lost your job, so that's a big source of your income that now you can't account for. Because, yeah, where's the paycheck coming from? This is actually what happened to me, technically. So when the pandemic hit, I used to be a server. Now, I had a couple other jobs too, but, I kind of leaned on my server job because, listen, tips was crazy. I worked at a 5-star restaurant back then, and yeah, let me just tell you, tips were crazy. I used to love tips. Definitely used to love tips. Tips, I could make anywhere from $100 to $400 a night. Now, obviously, I was a good server. I knew the menu backwards and forwards. I knew what I was talking about. I knew how to talk to people. I knew how to put the tray down and all of that stuff. And it was a 5-star restaurant. Our lines used to be wrapped around the corner. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there was a lot of things that were in my favor. And then, I had a great smile, right? So, yeah, I used to know that I could bring in anywhere from $100 to $500 in tips. And I used to count on it. Now, it wasn't guaranteed, but it was something that I knew. Obviously I had a regular job. I used to work at the bank. I worked in collections. I used to pick up shifts. So I was a temp gigger. By temp gigger, I mean I used to pick up temporary shifts at different places. I worked all in hospitality. Yes, I had a lot of jobs. I've been a maintenance worker, dishwasher worker, whatever. All throughout the hotel, all throughout the front, all throughout the back of the kitchen, the front of the kitchen. I mean, the only thing I haven't done is I've never been the main cook. I've been the prep cook, I've been the line cook, but I've never been the main cook. Well, the main chef, I guess. Because I wasn't about that life. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a cooking person. So when it comes to hospitality, I've pretty much done it all. You talk about a hotel, I've been front desk, back desk, security, reservations. I've done, what is it? It's not reservations. It's reconciling At the end of the night, you have to reconcile the books. You have to reconcile the cash draw. Well, I mean, I guess that's more so front desk. Yeah. And I've been in the back of the house. So I've been the laundry. I've been a dishwasher, server, and same kind of situation. I've been in a lot of different positions, man. And then obviously I have the computer skills. I've done that for myself, websites, all of that stuff. I've done a lot. I've done a lot. But when the pandemic hit, it kind of shut down everything. I'll never forget it. I know if you watched my channel for a little while, you probably like, man, he always talks about this story. When it happened, it was like, it basically changed everything. Because it was just like, now everything shut down. There's no more, I mean, just your everyday, day-to-day activities were all shut down, you know? Stores weren't letting you in. You had to wait in the line. Oh, man, you had to wear the mask, all of that stuff. And as a server, it really hurt my business because at that point, it was only takeout. Nobody cared. Nobody wanted to go into a restaurant. Everybody was scared. Nobody wanted to go inside the restaurant, sit down and eat like we do now because it was the first couple months. Everybody was scared, which makes sense. So obviously, because nobody's coming in the restaurant, how do I get tipped? Now, sure, it was takeout, so people might have still been tipping, the people that was bringing the food, but that don't go to me. So here I am doing all of this work in the restaurant when they finally let us come back. I was happy to come back, because it's like I got my bills counting on on that work, because I mean, I got bills. I was happy to come back, but the problem is that it was all takeout. So I wasn't getting tipped. So now when I used to live off of tips, now I don't even get any tips. And it was just hard. So at that time, I decided I'm paying for my car. I might need to use my car to try to make some money. I need to use my car to join Uber. I need to use my car to do DoorDash. I need to use my car to try to pay my bills. That's what I decided to do. And it was a tough decision because I'm coming from a place of just knowing what I had going on. Like kind of knowing, like I could kind of sort of calculate my bills every month, my income to my bills every month. I knew when I was getting paid. I knew when I was going to have it. Like it's just a stability of knowing when your paychecks are coming. Like I said, I had multiple jobs, so I knew when I was getting paid, when I wasn't getting paid. And as an employee, as a W-2 employee, you start to kind of organize your life around it, man. I'm gonna be honest. My life, my bills were organized around my paycheck. I always tell you guys, the 1st and the 15th. 1st and the 15th. The 1st and the 15th. The 1st and the 15th, the 10th and the 25th were the days that I generally got paid. Now, of course, with some jobs it was different. Some jobs it was the 1st of the month. It was this. But those were the overall average days, and I had that stability because I had been at those jobs. I picked up more jobs. I was in a decent. I was grinding. I was in a grinding position, and I knew that I had the stability. That's why I picked up the jobs. But when the pandemic hit, it created a sense of instability. It created a sense that I don't know how I'm gonna pay my bills. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I had this sense of pride that I'm not going to be a deadbeat. I'm not just going to not pay anything. I'm not just going to sit here and just wallow in pity. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to go get it. I'm a hustler. At least I'm a man of responsibility, I should say. I'm going to take care of my responsibilities. So it was a frustrating feeling because it was like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. And that was now 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I jumped into Uber. I jumped in it because I just needed to pay one bill. Then I started learning, oh, okay, I paid one bill, maybe I could pay two bills. Maybe I could pay 3, 4 bills. Then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm paying my bills, but maybe, just maybe I could start, putting some money aside. And I did. Then it was like, okay, cool. So if I paid my bills, like, how crazy would it be if I paid my bills in the first week of the month? Well, really, back then, it was like the first couple weeks of the month. So if I paid my bills, all of my bills in the first 3 weeks of the month, then I have one free week. And I could take off, I could chill, I could do whatever I want, right? That's how it started. Then it was like, okay, maybe if I push myself just a little bit harder, I could do it in 2 weeks. Then I got crazy, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to pay all my bills in 1 week. And little by little, I started gaining my time back. Because little by little, I'm experiencing the freedom. So that was 5 years ago. Now, I have a better car. I rent. I pay for the rental. I pay my bills. I'm kind of in a different type of position. I'm grinding for a goal that I have. I have a lot of other responsibilities now. So, yeah, man. Again, so I was just using my example. If you just lost your job, it's a tough situation. Let's just call a spade a spade. It sucks because you don't know what you're gonna do. You don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. And if we being realistic, it's gonna take a while for you to get a job. Well, it's gonna take a while for you to get paid from a job, because obviously you got to go through the interview, then you get hired, then you got to wait for the pay period, and then you got to wait for a regular pay period, and that's gonna take time. So in between that time, it just makes sense to start doing Uber. So, if my story can inspire you, hopefully, at the very least, just give you some money to have in the bank account. Because, yeah, you may have gotten fired, but those bills did not stop. None of those bills stop. You still got to eat. You still got things that you got to do. So, yeah, I personally recommend, if you just lost your job, go ahead, jump on Uber, and start. Also, first and foremost, you should join the Telegram community. We are a community of drivers, just like me and you, regular people. Join the Telegram community and be a part of the community. Be a verb in the community. And yeah, you should get on Uber and Lyft. And let's grind and get this money. But yeah, with that being said, man, as you can see, I have been walking around. I am up here in Fort Pierce. I was actually charging, and I was like, yeah, let me get out here. So it's a little cold. As you can see, I ain't got my jacket on. So I'm about to jump back in the car. But yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope y'all are staying warm. I know our couple days of winter. But yeah, again, I love and I appreciate you guys. Absolutely. I'm still very close to hitting 1,000 subs. Very close to getting monetized. So if you can help out, I appreciate that. But yeah, other than that, like I said, I'm out of here. I'm gonna stop rambling. Deuces.